The Hustleshare podcast is brought to you by Unbounce, the leading platform for A/B testing made easy. With Unbounce, you don't need to be a developer to build high-converting landing pages, pop-ups, and sticky bars. Hustleshare listeners get 20% off on their first 3 months after the free trial period. Visit bit.ly/hustlebounce to learn more. Also by Chatbot PH. Save time and effort for your business. Automate how your team does customer service, marketing, and key redundant processes, all by using a chatbot. Invest in your own chatbot now and use AI to run your business. Go to www.chatbot.ph.
Welcome to Quickie number 4 of the Hustleshare podcast. My name is Ronster, and I'm your host. And in this Quickie, we're going to be talking to a startup trainer. And his name is Mr. Carlo Valencia, the founder of startupph Training. And Carlo is going to be talking about how he started out his career in the BPO industry and what ultimately led him to create his own startup when he had a chance. And also, he's going to be talking about what happened to his startup and the mistakes he made when he put up his own startup called Classico. And now he is going to be sharing what he does at the moment to help founders not make the same mistakes he did and to help them launch their startup at the moment. So if you're ready to learn the hustle of a startup trainer, let's begin this Quickie right now. Welcome to the latest Hustleshare Quickie. Again, we're doing this Netflix style, right? When we release all of this stuff, it's going to go all just in one go. And this is our transition period to our season 2. It's in between. If you're listening to this in between where we just recently put it out, this is our transition to season 2 because season 2 of Hustleshare will now have video. Because we saw, not because I want to be a fucking YouTuber. No, that's the last thing I want to do.
It's not a bad thing.
Right? But it's being able to give another channel to people that want to listen to the podcast that are not auditory by default. Right? They want to, if they're visual and whatnot, then this is the platform to get that done.
Cool.
All right, so this is our MVP per se.
I like
there
that.
You go. Okay, we have in the show today someone who's very well known in the ecosystem, Mr. Carlo Valencia. Carlo, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Welcome. Right, you've seen one of this in the flesh.
Yeah. I've seen this
season
happening.
1, right, with George, right?
Correct.
No, but I'm very interested because I've known you for a while, and
we're batchmates, I think.
What started?
2014, 2013.
Yeah.
Right?
That was when I kind of went big and I got funded, but I started 2011, 2010.
Oh, okay.
There was no startup ecosystem yet.
Yeah, no. You're older than me then.
No. Biologically,
from a startup perspective. Yeah.
Because I was hanging out with all these older dudes. Like they're like the Jojis of the world.
Okay.
And whatnot. He was my startup mentor, and that's what this episode or this Quickie will be about.
All right.
Startup mentorship and training and whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Why is it important and whatnot? But before we do that, Carlo, let's just give a heads up to those people who are watching it or listening to this. What's your hustle?
So my hustle is I do a lot of training or facilitation. So I do corporate training around innovation. I teach design thinking to big companies.
Okay.
That pays the bills.
Okay.
The advocacy is teaching entrepreneurs or new and aspiring founders how to start the right way, which is, I can curse here, right? Because you
fucking curse whatever. Right? There's no MTRCB on the shit.
Yeah, no. So essentially, what I advocate is fuck your idea and fuck your solution.
Absolutely.
Figure out what your customer needs and who they are, really intimately.
And looking at your shirt because that's what I used before and whatnot too as well.
Yep. And then once you have that understanding, try different things really fast. Right. So. Fail fast, exactly, right? And because when you try things, that's the only time you'll get the feedback. And if you're polishing and polishing, and you're delaying that
analysis paralysis.
Exactly.
You over-engineer shit. You fall in love with it. Next thing you know, you're a narcissist and you love your own fucking shit, but nobody wants it.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's exactly what we did wrong when I started my startup in 2014 with Classical. Is we built the platform right away.
Right.
We assumed we knew what the customer was and needed.
Right.
And then it took us about 6 months to a year to really figure out, to actually really launch.
Got it.
And that's when I found out that what we were building could have been done with a WordPress plugin.
Wow.
Right? So
cold hard truth. Right.
Cold hard truth, man.
Right.
I did not sleep the night I found that out. But that's the truth. And a lot of people are, and you see this in Startup PH. I am looking for a developer. Right? I'm looking for an investor.
PM me.
And what I really want to comment to everyone is, no, dude, you need a paying customer. You need to figure out what people are willing to pay for.
Right.
And if you get some people to at least a few people,
then build something.
Then you start building something.
Correct.
But first, people need to start paying you, because the concept. If you can't sell a concept, you cannot sell. If you cannot sell the concept, building the product, building the app ain't gonna work. It's not gonna get it sold.
Ain't gonna go anywhere.
Right. So and the hustle is. It's actually true in corporate land as well.
Yes.
The difference is they got lots of money.
Correct. And they have a longer pace. You can delay because...
Yeah.
And in our season finale in season 1, Martin Koo, the head of Ninja Van, said that, corporates or corporate people are, according to his dad, who's Ernest Koo, right, says that corporate people are good at not getting fired. They delay because failure in a corporate setup is a no-no. It's not an option.
Correct.
Right? But in reality, that's actually what happens. Their cycles are just longer. Right? And by the time that cycle doesn't pan out well, you're fired. Then you're out
exactly.
the door.
And that's what I'm advocating as well. So the principles are the same, corporate or startup. It's essentially start with understanding, start with your customers, start with their problem. When you have that understanding, try different shit out, right?
Absolutely.
Like first maybe do a Facebook group and get people to engage on the group, and then maybe later on build one of those do-it-yourself apps. And then you're progressing from there until finally you have your full mature product. But it's not, and I see a lot of people do this, is they build the entire app or they build the entire platform. And then only afterwards will they look for a customer. Right? So I essentially want to tell everybody that's listening to this, and essentially everybody in startup land here in the Philippines,
watching this now,
who are watching this, by the way, find customers first. So that's the first thing. Customers first before you build stuff.
Right, because your idea ain't worth shit. Until somebody's wanting to throw money at it.
Exactly.
Right. Because if you're building an idea and you said, you know what, I'll worry about the fucking money down the road. Dude, that's a charity, and guess what? The failure rate of startups is 90%. Right?
I actually think there's more.
Really?
That's a higher percentage.
Fuck.
Because the 90% is startups that register.
Oh, wow.
Don't last more than 5 years, right? After 5 years, 90% of them are dead. But there's a whole bunch of startups that actually died even before they registered.
Because they never even made it to that point.
Exactly. Because it costs money to register your business. So just getting to that point is an achievement in itself.
Correct.
So 90% of the startups that register fail.
So there's a higher failure rate even for those who are duds or, never really made it out of the launching pad per se.
Yeah, because... and I get this a lot. Not as often now as before, but I get a lot of, hey, Carlo, I built this app and it's a...
Listen to my idea. So this is awesome idea.
Right. Just an idea is actually okay, Some people go like, we built the app already. All we need now is customers. And like, man, no.
I've seen this happen. Deja vu.
Wait, I've been there, right?
True.
So that's the hustle in corporate land as well. They want to build apps, so I do. Sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's we're getting a lot of customer complaints.
Got it.
We want to know how to turn this customer complaints into a feature,
opportunity or whatever,
into an opportunity. So great, I do a design thinking workship, and then from there they come up with ideas. From there we can do idea validations sessions. Until finally, maybe give it 2 or 3 months. Then then I can essentially get them to the point wherein are we building it now, or do we need more experiments, or do we kill it?
Got it.
Right, which is
persevere.
Right, which is a lot cheaper. You might think that's expensive, but it's a lot cheaper than building the whole freaking platform or app, and then 2 years later down the road,
boom, nothing.
Right, so that's...
Carlo, I want to step back a little bit, because I remember your story when we were initially pitching Classico and back there. You mentioned you were in corporate. I think it was in a bank, if I'm not mistaken. You were
HSBC.
there, right? And what was your early hustle before you decided to jump ship and say, all right, I'm gonna do my own startup?
College. Right. I started selling chocolate-covered strawberries.
Oh, wow.
Because I didn't get enough allowance.
Okay, so you got to hustle for it.
I sold it to my friends.
Got it.
Some of my friends really liked it, and they were hustlers as well. They said, you know what, why don't you give me a box? I'm going to give it to my friends and then get you orders.
Wow, just like
so
you're dealing.
I had a little,
strawberry drugs covered with chocolate.
MLM thing, right? I had a couple of downlines.
Right.
So I had San Agustin, Don Bosco, because I used to live in Makati. So that was my first hustle. I fell in love with the whole entrepreneurship thing. I met a friend's father, actually was also an entrepreneur, businessman.
Okay,
Pang
businessman.
Tawag,
That's
right?
what they call,
right? So negosyante.
Business minded.
Right. But what happened was, I think I was 18 or 19. A friend of mine opened up a bar.
Okay.
And then next thing I knew, I was 30 years old. I was an agent in the call center. I think I was drinking the whole time.
Wow.
So my entrepreneurship journey kind of took a little bit of a delay.
Yeah.
But so at 30, I started thinking I need to progress in life. I can't keep taking calls. I got promoted. First wanted to become a center manager or country manager.
Got it.
But around 2011,
right.
I knew that our company was looking for people to take out.
Oh, wow.
But at the same time, I was feeling like, I don't think employment is for me. And especially with HSBC. I mean, I'm not saying they're a bad organization.
Right.
Just that in a bank, you, by definition, you want consistency. Right? You don't want to put your money in an organization that's trying stuff out and doing crazy stuff.
Right.
So there were a lot of restrictions. I couldn't try out my ideas. So I was thinking, and I started hearing about startups.
Right.
2012, I was still in HSBC. I attended this startup weekend. I think it was the second or third in the Philippines.
Second week was I pitched in the second one.
Right, in Mint.
Yes.
Yeah, so we were both there. So see, we're kind of batchmates.
Okay, there you go.
So I attended that and I fell in love with it, man.
Got it.
That's this whole let's talk to customers and figure out, coming up with ideas, talking to customers, pitching
Putting up
things.
a startup over that weekend.
Right.
Pitching it at the end of the fucking whatever, right?
Yep. And the whole freedom of it.
Right.
So around that time, I knew they were taking people out. So instead of resigning, I just raised my hand. I said, why don't you take me out?
Wow.
Because the option is I resign and I don't get anything.
Got it.
Right. So they took me out, gave me some money.
Okay.
I used that to look for a business to start. It first started with, actually, there was a billion, just a whole bunch of ideas I had.
Yeah.
But the first thing I started was web development, because I saw this website called WordPress, and it said,
oh shit,
build websites without learning how to code.
Right.
And I self-taught myself Excel, and I have what my wife calls entrepreneurial arrogance, which is I see something and I'm like,
do you?
I can do that.
Right.
I can be very good at that.
And most of us do have that.
Right.
But reality has this thing called a bitch slap to your face, and it bitch slaps you very hard.
Yeah. No. Exactly. So I sold. And this is by instinct. I sold that whole. I'm going to build your website, and I'm going to do your social media presence.
Okay.
$10,000 a month for 6 months.
Okay.
I was thinking, some of my friends had businesses. I'm going to build their websites because their websites suck.
Right.
So I came to them. One friend said yes. 2 friends said yes. And I was thinking yeah, man, I'm the man.
Here we go.
This is it.
Yep.
2 weeks into the first project, that's when I fully appreciated there is no way in hell I can learn WordPress. That
hard,
was the bitch
dude.
step. Yeah. No,
Right.
I'm not a developer.
Right.
I'm tech literate.
Right.
But I can't write code for shit.
Totally different hustle. No.
So,
right.
So I found the developer that, obviously my margins became a lot smaller.
Right.
Because now I was hiring somebody to build it.
Right.
So I call the web dev part my journey, my most successful failure, because through that, one client was a swimming school, a large swimming school.
Wow. I think I know this. It starts with an L, is it?
Bert Lozada Swimming
Yes,
School.
exactly.
Close enough, yeah.
Right. Lozada, right.
And then so I was pitching a website project to them. They eventually so they were asking for a discount. And I said, "Sir, I'm not." He said, "Bigyan mo ako mas magandang deal.
Oh my God.
Balikan mo ako bukas."
Oh shit.
So I think about it. The following day, I came back and I said, "Sir, I'm not going to give you a discount. I'm going to give you an extra feature, which is automated enrollment, which is something I had experience in HSBC. So I knew they were going to appreciate that." And he was like, "Yeah."
Okay.
Also, I told him, "I'm not going to charge you anything extra.
Okay.
I'm going to charge the parents and the students extra every time they enroll through my product."
Wow.
And I knew they had several thousand of enrollments
Got it.
every year.
Yeah.
So he said yes, gave me a 25,000 peso down payment, which by that time, that whole separation pay from HSBC was gone.
Yeah.
Right?
Now you're back to zero.
I was back to zero, but now I was back to 25,000. So
Right.
I had a few weeks.
Right.
I need to figure this out.
Survive.
I needed to survive. And I was thinking also, I should not look for more dev clients, for website clients. I should focus on this because this is going to be big money if I do it right. So what I did is I used that contract, made a little pitch deck, went around to my friends and the and the startup community essentially, and started pitching. Through, I guess, serendipity and luck and persistence, somebody said, "You know what? I'm going to give you 500K for 20%."
Wow.
And that's how we got started.
So as an angel.
Yeah,
this is pre-Eden.
Yeah. So that was just really, that's how it got started, and so from there I started hiring. I started getting my co-founders, and that's where we started building the platform when we should have started actually pre-selling and interviewing people.
And this is the dangerous part about funding, right? Yep. People think like, all right, I'm validated. This is it. This is a
They gave me money, so yep.
Right. No, at the end of the day, if you spend that and you don't focus on customer development, rather you started becoming infatuated with product development.
Absolutely.
Then you're fucked.
We hired, so it was me and two of my co-founders. There was a CTO, and then we hired one developer, and then we hired another developer, and then we hired a designer.
Oh man, here we go.
And then development was going faster, so we had to hire another developer.
Right.
And then there were getting so many of us, so you know what? Maybe we should hire an admin person.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because all these things are just gonna balloon, right?
Yeah, and
500K is not much runway.
No, it wasn't. We were able to raise a couple of million in a few months, and then essentially totaling $9 million. So I call that my very expensive entrepreneurial scholarship.
Wow. Your MBA.
My MBA. Right. So I'm very grateful. Sure. Fortunately, our investors, they were in a position to afford losing $9 million.
Right.
So thank you, sirs. I know you know who you are.
Right. And it's not always an easy pill to swallow at first as well.
Absolutely. Right. No, they,
especially if it's angel money.
I got a whole bunch of scolding for that, for sure.
Absolutely.
Right. But so I left Classical 2016.
Okay.
And then first I was just going around again, looking at things. What can I do?
But you didn't want to go corporate again anymore.
Or I was thinking about it, really. Okay. But I went to one interview.
Okay.
And just so they were liking that whole interview, and they were liking me, and then just the thought of, man, this is going to be a regular shift, regular break schedule.
Right.
Every day it's the same
Not
thing.
For you anymore.
Started thinking
can't do this
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Just for me, and especially if you're used to already managing your own schedule.
Right.
So that I started dreading that. Another thing that happened was people were asking me, how do you do it? Right? How do you get that funding? How did you get all that money?
Right.
can you help me fundraise? So I sit down with them and I go, and then I find out, I try to figure out where they are in their journey, what have they done, and da-da-da-da-da.
Okay.
What I found myself saying 9 out of the 10 times that I sat down with people was, dude, you don't need an investor, you need a customer.
Boom.
So I started thinking, maybe I should do training because I know I like to train. So during classical, people ask me to do talks. I love those things.
Absolutely.
Man. I'm an extrovert, right? So you put me
it's
on
also
stage,
an ego boost at the same time, right?
So that adrenaline and people are asking you questions.
Right.
So admittedly, I like all of that.
Right.
So I did this validation workshop. I made a post on startupph.
Okay.
I get I want to do a validation workshop. I don't know if anybody's interested in it, but I really think it's important for everybody to learn. First 5 people that comment get in for free. Everybody else pays $500 per head.
Wow.
20-something people commented. Right? So that was a pre-sell.
Validation there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
An
Practicing what you preach.
in the javelin board right there.
Right there.
Absolutely.
And then, so from there, people started, so I built the event. I started designing the course. I made the deck, found the venue.
Right.
I did that for a few months and then went into on-off group with Phil Smithson. So I was asking for his help, and he's like the design thinking UX master.
He's a maestro of that. He's the Yoda of that here.
Right. So I'm a big fan of UX Manila. It was UX Manila before on-off group, right? So, and then one day he said, "You know what? I think you do a good job selling design thinking and on-off group products." And I'm like, fuck yeah. I can do that. Right?
Absolutely.
Because I believe in it and I can sell. So, and that's where I really, really learned this whole, begin by understanding and design thinking and UX. I got exposed to it firsthand. I was preaching it.
Okay.
And then 2018, I left.
Okay.
We're still friends. He came to my wedding.
There you go.
Right. And then first started doing a lot of workshops for just anybody, really. I did startups. I did a lot of school talks. And this whole, Gary Vee and Chris Do thing, like if you're very new to it, like, you don't have clients, do it for free.
Absolutely.
Right? So a whole bunch of schools, a whole bunch of orgs came to me and said, "Hey, we're looking for a speaker." I'm like, I'm your guy. Right. Eventually somebody said, "Hey, we're willing to pay you $5,000. But it's in Clark."
Oh, wow. Shit. So, as long as you can fucking fly me there, or at least...
No, man, I drove to it. I did the talk. It was a 2-hour talk, and then drove back. Took me the whole day.
Right.
And then they actually asked me to come back, but this time I took the P2P bus. At least
more comfortable too.
Right. But I started there, and then now I do full-day corporate trainings at a lot more than $5,000.
All right, absolutely.
So that's the hustle, man. That's the hustle. That allows me now to talk to and spend time with entrepreneurs and founders essentially and sit down, because obviously when you're starting, the last thing you want to do is pay somebody.
Correct.
But the people that have money to pay for someone and you need help, you let me know.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you this, bro. At the end of the day, I actually did something similar when Party Foul died.
Okay.
End of 2016. It's like, all right, I'm coming from scratch. I have nothing. I've raised so much money. Everything just went down to the shits, right? There's no stronger narrative in teaching when you tell people that, hey, I fucked up. I'll teach you now how not to fuck up like that.
Absolutely.
I did that as a side hustle in freelancing. I taught a lot of same shit. So, whatchamacallit? I forgot. Javelin board.
Yeah.
And then I'll use a lean canvas and then we do experiments. Basically, my narrative is like in 2 months, you'll have a startup. You'll have a MVP that you can now scale. Yeah, whatever happens there, it's up to you, right? And whatnot. So that's what I did. And the narrative, because I've been through so many potholes that I've been through, like, all right, I know what you do. You fucking hide all these shit because I've fucked up so much. Is that? And that's how strong the narrative, I guess, for you as well. Was it?
It is, actually. And that's the whole reason why, because when Classica was failing, that whole 2016 and most of 2015 as well, I was just, I'd be driving home and I'd be thinking like, what the hell am I doing wrong? Like,
I thought, as a child.
I really thought Classical I was destined for Classical, right? Like everything that happened prior to my life was so classical can happen.
Okay.
And now it was happening and it was failing. I was spending shitloads amount of money, and I knew we weren't making any. I was trying this, I was trying that, and nothing was working. But now in hindsight, classical had to happen to me
to prepare you for this,
for teaching. And now, exactly. Sometimes people sometimes people will ask me for advice, or just generally, or sometimes they don't ask me for advice. I just give it to anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
But sometimes people were like, yeah, no, I don't think we need to do that. And to me, I'll say like, yeah, man, gawin mo yan. Tingnan natin kung alam ko ng ending yan.
Been there, done that.
I've been there. And it's not just me. Like, I've seen other people do the same thing. You want to build your app? Go ahead, dude.
Okay.
Or a marketplace, right? If you can only build a marketplace.
No, I mean, they're not shitting on anyone's idea here. It's just that sometimes it just pays. It will save you a lot of heartbreak and money as well if you talk to people who fucked up before. And the reason why they're telling you this is because they've been there. We're not trying to discourage you. We're just actually doing you a favor, because eventually you'll run up into the same potholes we did.
Yep. Right. No, and actually, initially when I started as well, one of my key worries was, what if they ask me something I don't know?
Yeah.
So now I don't worry about that, partly because I've seen so much. It's not the fun part about teaching entrepreneurship and innovation is you're exposed to so many ideas.
Got it.
So that allows me
now, getting all these things. The same way I'm doing this podcast. I'm doing
man, I can imagine.
Dude, I get first dibs on all these learnings from fucking superstars, right? And all I'm doing now is just pressing record and putting an intro and a good background music in between.
I'm sure lots of juicy stuff in the grapevine.
Dude,
too.
I swear. And then again, they always share some stuff that they don't ever share on a normal conversation. I'm just very, very lucky to be able to get that and share it as well.
Yeah, so I think the whole so it's one is the experience part, and then the other part is really getting that, using the frameworks that are already
there.
You don't need to make things up, right? So and the funny thing is, when I actually learned them before classical, and then I started classical, and then the pressure happened, and then I defaulted to my corporate, because that's how I got trained, right? Balanced scorecard, project management, risk management. There was no design.
Yes.
Right? There was no UX or Javelin board and experiments. So it's really important when I teach people as well, is I want them to go through it. So sometimes I'll teach them something, don't talk, and I'll tell them, actually, I this happens a lot. When you interview people validating your idea, don't talk about your idea.
No.
Right? No. Just understand what their problems are.
Right.
And then I'll send them out, and then they'll talk about their idea. Right. What do you think about our idea? Or are you willing to download our app?
Oh, they're going to tell you fluff and bullshit.
And because Filipinos are not trained to say no to your face, right?
No.
So I have difficulty saying no.
Right.
So but they'll go there anyway, and they'll ask, and then they'll talk about their idea. They'll come back, and then they'll say, I told you not to talk about your idea.
Right.
And then, yeah. No, but that's okay, because now you made a mistake. Now go out there again.
Do it again.
Do it
the right way.
But now you know what to not do.
Right.
Right. And that's the real value, is really somebody allowing you to experience that in a controlled scenario.
Correct.
Because if you're already doing that in your startup and nobody's saying that's the wrong way, you're just going to keep going until you hit a brick wall.
Again, this is going to be a vicious cycle of people going through the same potholes.
Yep.
Same pitfalls and whatnot.
So that's what I want to end, is I want to reduce the amount of people building apps.
The collateral damage. You want to reduce the collateral damage
without talking to customers. Correct. Right? So I once made a post or I was thinking about making it.
Right.
If you do not have a clear understanding of the customer's problem, you have no right prescribing a solution.
True.
And unfortunately, that's not the truth right now. People go like, oh, it's this cryptocurrency, blockchain, multi-platform with AI thing.
Right.
That's amazing. Right? And then I go like, what problem does that solve? Astig to.
Right.
So yeah, no, I mean, and so some people hate me for that. I get it. Yep. So I try to be nice. So that's actually like my personal development area for these days are, how do you nicely reject. Right. You're right. Or soften the blow. How do you nicely point out, nah, yeah, you fucked that up, man.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now, Carlo, I just have a couple questions before we wrap this baby up. In terms of, you talk about all these things about, we want to be able to pay it forward and, help each other. If you were helping someone now, or you to advice for someone, again, saying the same shit, what would be your first few advice that you would give them, given what you know now? You're just like, hey, I have an idea. Listen to this. Right.
My first questions are, who's your customer and what problem are you solving? Also known as, who's going to pay you and why will they pay you? Because people don't give money away just because you're nice, right? Or just because to have fun. So that's the first thing. And essentially, depending on how in love they are with the idea, sometimes I tell them that, like, dude, fuck your idea, man.
Right.
Who's gonna pay you for this?
Right.
Okay, now talk to them, and just talk to them and figure out what their problems are. And then sometimes they'll come back to me and say, "Oh, but I can't find them." Interview pa nga lang, hindi mo na mahanap.
Great.
How can you actually sell to them if you can't even talk to them?
Right. Correct.
So, and by the way, that's not easy. Right? Just doing interviews is not easy at all. But if
it takes a lot of courage,
right? And that's the thing too. I make them realize, dude, this shit ain't easy, man.
Nope.
Right? Like, and some people think like when I get older, I'm gonna start a business.
Oh man.
And right? Or if I want to get rich, I need to start a business.
There's no hall pass to this.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter what age you start. You're going to have the same doubt, the same challenges, and the same whatever bullshit that you have to go through, especially with yourself. Because your number one hurdle is you and your biases and your ideas.
Yeah. Right. So talk to the customers or talk to your potential customers. That's the first thing. Do a problem interview or do a empathy interview. As long as just interview them without pitching your solution.
Right. Because and document it, please.
Yep. 9 out of the 10 people you ask about your idea, no matter what your idea is, they're gonna say, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
9 out of 10, I guarantee you.
And don't talk to your family and friends. Please.
That's a 10 out of 10.
Yes. Because they don't want to hurt you. Right? They will tell you the cold hard truth.
Especially if you're a kid and you ask your mom's gonna say, "Wow, that's great. You should keep going.
I love you, anak."
Ang galing-galing mo, iyo.
Absolutely. Now, Carlo, last question. You've been through the ups and downs now, right? Mm-hmm. What for those people who've lost it all or who's in the dumps at the moment? What would be your advice for them to bounce back?
Wow, good question.
It's tough.
I've been there. I wouldn't recommend the people what I've been through. I wouldn't recommend. No. And I've told my wife this. There's a big difference between getting into an accident and almost getting into an accident.
Right.
Right. One is your life changes.
Right.
The other one is you laugh and you talk about it.
Right.
So I've had a lot of almost getting into an accident.
Right.
I've had a lot of, just last month I had $3,000 in my pocket.
Right.
And I had to make that last 5 days. And all year actually I've started the month knowing that I don't have enough money to last.
Correct.
Until the end of the month, but somehow
figured
within that month, a project comes in, or we figured it out. We did a public workshop, whatever.
Right.
A few friends told me to maybe you should start looking for a job.
Got it.
But what I did was, and this happened just last April.
Right.
I did public workshops.
Wow.
So I essentially, it was $2,000 a ticket. 20 seats.
Right. Oh, that's more than enough, right?
$40,000, right? Minus venue and stuff. So thinking about $30,000, and that's basically around how much I needed at that time.
Yeah.
The thing is, and I did this with On Of Group as well, and I just forgot about it.
Right.
When I was promoting my public workshops, other people were coming to me and saying, "Hey man, can you do that for our company? Can you do that for our team?"
They should have more budget.
Right? And so I've been doing a number of private workshops now. Just the other day we did Microsoft.
Oh wow!
And I would, by the way, brainstorming for 400 people.
Right.
That was
shit.
intense.
Wow!
But
good luck.
and I would argue that one of the reasons they thought about me and one of the reasons I'm here today actually is because I was promoting the public workshop
Shamelessly,
right. Absolutely, right. And then in promoting the public workshop, people started noticing me. It's content.
Got it.
And I share the content as well. So if you are down in the dumps, I know this is going to be hard, but do content.
Absolutely.
Do content, share your knowledge, and people, I don't know if you can do workshops or write stuff. Show your skills.
Right.
And people will. So that's going to be the hustle. You don't need to start a startup right away. If you started the startup and now you're down in the dumps with no money, you have a skill. Right. At the very least, you can help out.
God-given gift,
right? Or at the very least, you can do school talks or speaking engagements at $2,000, $5,000 a pop, and that gets you. At least that's what got me from dying to surviving.
Got it. So now building that traction again.
Yeah.
At a different path.
Yeah. So the direction now is actually to create programs and productize the whole training thing and do e-learning stuff.
Awesome.
So, but man, this whole year it's been really, really tight until actually just because of the Microsoft thing. I now I'm comfortable until the end of June, which is July.
All right.
But I think July is going to be the first month that I'm going to start knowing I have enough to survive until the end of the month.
Right.
Then register the business and blah blah blah. There's a growth plan already. So if you're down in the dumps, write or share knowledge, share value,
whatever it is. Right?
Yep.
And build momentum and confidence back.
Yep.
Because that's all it takes. Or sometimes to just get back up from being knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. Right. At the most desperate.
Right.
I was actually gonna do this. It's just that there were projects came in, so good thing I didn't need to do it. But I was ready to do this, which is really just go through your friends list, man. Okay. And then go, hey, dude, do you need help? Right. And then, or also, because if you don't have clients, make a portfolio, make a bio, right?
Correct.
Do
Talk
content.
about it. Right.
Talk about it. And then, hey, dude, this is my bio. You might need any help. You might need some help. You just let me know. I'm willing to share my knowledge. I'm willing to work for cheap because I need the money, right? Or willing to whatever, man, and then just send it out. I've done that a few times, but I didn't go through my friends list. I went through the calling cards that I got, which I never got to, that I stockpiled, and I'm like, okay, this guy is good, so I send the email, right? And then you send it to 100 people, 3-5 people say yes. Yeah. Dude, that's work.
Correct.
Right? And that's the hustle.
Right.
You don't need a high thing. You just need to go through next week.
Correct. And build, eventually the opportunities will come and the rest will come.
Also, I kept a low budget lifestyle.
Change the lifestyle and everything, right?
Right. So, to the people that still have their parents or, if you're staying in an apartment, don't move out, man. Just stay long and just lower everything down. Right. So that's what we did, man.
Appreciate it. All right. Thanks, Carlo. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I really like this thing.
Please promote it. Yeah,
man. So Startup PH training. Join the group, like the page.
There you go.
We do public workshops.
Right.
Although we don't have anything scheduled soon.
But hey, this is gonna be up there, so hopefully it does.
Yeah. No, but join the group, and then if we do have public workshops, we do idea validation, we do design thinking.
Sounds good.
Some UX as well.
All right.
So yeah, join that group.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you, Carlo. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Again, guys, for you are watching this on YouTube, again, obviously it's a YouTube exclusive. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this Hustleshare Quickie. And I'll see you guys in the next Quickie.
All right.
Peace.